And to address that national security threat, my next guest is a former Border Patrol agent and supervisor considering a second run for Congress to help shape policy that will protect and defend our southern border. And welcoming back into my orbit is Francisco. We call him Frank Lopez Jr. He's running for Congress down in Texas 23rd District, a retired border agent. Frank, you and I met face-to-face down at an event where General Flynn was speaking. Christy Hutcherson put this on, Women Fighting for America. It was a great event with a lot of saboteurs behind it, but we had incredible speakers there. Yeah. And you're deciding to jump back into the congressional race again and defend our country. So thank you for that. Tell us how your campaign's going and why you decided to do this again.
So I'm in the exploratory phase right now, Ann, and by the way, great to see you. It's been a while since we last spoke, but yeah, so much is happening in our country. I live in the border, Del Rio, Texas, a few years ago with a Haitian situation down here, but it's never stopped. And as I see just the toll it's taking on our communities, the massive expenditures of local tax dollars to try to offset what the federal government's dumping in, to see what the cartels are doing with the fentanyl and other drugs, dangerous drugs coming in. And then, of course, to see just the plain human misery, just rational people have to stop and say, when is this going to stop? And so looking at the political arena and the players involved, and our congressman here, Tony Gonzalez in the 23rd Congressional District, was censured by the Republican Party of Texas for not upholding our conservative values, the platform. And part of that has to do with border security. He has, in fact, encouraged it by continuously throwing money at the situation, by being closely affiliated with non-government organizations. His office actually was for the first 2 years of his term, or his first term was at the Endeavor's facility in San Antonio, Texas. So the sitting congressman, 800 plus miles of border, his office in San Antonio was inside an NGO who got a part of a $2 billion no-bid contract from the Biden administration. And so that's why I had to jump into this race, to see that we have a complicit person who is involved at the federal level. I just couldn't sit idly by it and allow this to continue happening.
Well, Frank, I have to say I applaud you for that, because if there's anything we've learned is how absolutely corrupt these non-governmental organizations are. They're actually paying the cartel to smuggle people in because the money that they get paid to house the illegals is quite rich. Multi-million dollars every quarter being reported. Southwest Key Properties comes to mind as one of the most egregious. And so to find out our congressman representing in Texas has an office inside one of these NGOs just tells you how in bed they are, because the same NGO that's sending bribe money to the coyotes to do the human smuggling is also sending money to the lobbyists in DC to, who then turn around and flip it to the members of Congress and Senate all over the country to continue with this charade that we call border security. So as a former Customs and Border Patrol agent, can you kind of give me a beat on what the morale is right now, as Secretary Mayorkas seems to really not care about what's happening at the border and encouraging human trafficking under the Biden regime?
Yeah, so I spent 30 years of that of my border career. Half of it was as a supervisor. The other half was management, assistant chief up in Washington, et cetera. But I always thrived on and especially relished being on the ground with the agents, that daily face-to-face interaction. And one of the things, and that as I've been watching Alejandro Mayorkas at the Senate hearings, what I see and what I know is happening, and I feel it myself, is an utter disgust for a political player. And you can see it in the way he tries to, he gives non-answers. He just skirts around the issues. That is the kind of, wordplay that we hated in the Border Patrol, as far as the non-political, just get the job done type of guys. And so I know that they're discouraged, they're disgusted, they are disillusioned. There are several efforts, at trying to bring up morale but it's not really having the effect that the the management officials would like for it to have, because the reality is that every day these guys get ready to go to work. They know they're going to the, grinding machine, another day in the grinder of not doing their job, which is to enforce the laws, which is to get the bad guys. They try to play off this fentanyl thing by always saying, well, we know we're catching it because at the ports of entry, the apprehensions say such and such. But Ann, I keep saying it, we do not know what we don't know. And we don't know how many drugs are getting away, how many drugs are coming between the ports of entry. So yeah, morale is at an all-time low. And of course, people are trying to, offset that. But when the guys are not able to do their job and just go out there and just do the old-fashioned patrolling, they are not, happy with the job. And then you compound it with this insult to injury of what Alejandro Mayorkas is doing, using them as a pawn to further facilitate the invasion into our country.
Yeah. Well, Frank, we wish you well on this exploratory review of whether or not you want to get back into the fray again. I say we need people like you down in Texas, because every state's a border state, but Texas is on the front line. You've got great patriots down there. Lieutenant Colonel Pete Chambers, Phil Waldron come to mind. Christy Hutcherson with Women Fighting for America has done a great job of exposing what's happening down there on a regular basis. So you have a good line of people that will stand with you, including millions of Americans who need your support down there. You've got a great website, by the way, usborderpatriot.com. I encourage everybody to go there, learn a little bit more about what your goals are and your life aspirations, and frankly, what you've done and sacrificed for this country. So, Frank, please keep us posted when you make that final decision. I want to know, because we want to make sure we get you elected.
Yeah, it'll be soon, and I'll definitely let you know.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ann.